Hey everybody, Dave here, and here we are, man. Week 3 into our Health 101 class online together, and in my face-to-face class, I'm going to share with you what we've done in that class and face-to-face, and how it connects with you guys. They're doing very similar assignments. They're just not going into the discussion forum. So a lot of our discussions in class are similar or parallel with what you are experiencing. And I'll say they have an advantage where there's a lot more open dialogue, and I can provide that one-on-one even in a classroom setting. So I'm going to share with you some of the stuff that we've done. What we did was we got into groups based on the tasks that they did, which were all the similar exercises, except they got into groups based on the activity. So all the here I ams got into one group, and all the bodily symptoms got into another group. And from there, we talked about things like on page 22 in our textbook, on 22, it talks about self acceptance, and the authors talk about how that one of them was a smoker, and that felt like they were a hypocrite for writing a health book, and yet they were, that was their vice. And so we talk a lot about vices, those things that hold us back a lot, and how can we work our way out of that. And it's really through identifying self-love and the things that bring about making us love ourselves more. And so what we did is we each table got a large piece of butcher paper, and they just started writing based on their experience from the activity that they did. How did they feel like they gained, or they could self-promote that the love from within, so that they could do some activities, because that can be really challenging. Like for example, when someone wants to change their diet, it's easy to do to get rid of some of the poor choices, but you still need to substitute that with something, some sort of nutrients. And a lot of people just don't know where to even begin with that. Or when it comes to exercise, everyone knows we should be moving more, but what should we be doing? So, when it comes to vices and letting go of some of our past or our demons, that can be really challenging, because then it's like, well, okay, what do I do? Where do I go? And so writing a lot of activities down that fulfill self-love and self-responsibility and self-respect were all written on these butcher papers, and they're really, really wonderful examples of kind of really promoting that I'll say that warmth and that love from within. And one of the things that I recall vividly was how someone said, "I'm learning to say no more often." And what I just asked her to expand on that in the group for the class, and she said, "Well, I was in a really abusive relationship, and it sounded like it was more of an emotional abuse." And she just needed to walk away from that. And it was as challenging as it was. That was her first step in gaining that self-confidence within herself, to just learn how to just self-manage and get out of those types of relationships, or yeah, in totality, and just really growing from there. And she was really young. I think she's probably not even 20. So that's really great to see that, and for her to share that, because there's someone in that class that needs to hear it. And so to gain from some of that wisdom was really great. So this week we talk about breathing and sensing, and that chapter, or those two chapters, chapter 2 and 3, discuss really self-management. I'm sorry, not self-management, stress management. And so we talk about eustress and distress and many examples. And the main thing that we did was I read a passage out of a book, and the book is called Sacred Hoops. And there's a passage in here that talks about, it's written by Phil Jackson, who's a kind of a basketball guru. And he talks about what he does with his players, which is meditation. And he teaches them the art of Zen and the practice of meditation off the court. So in a low pressure setting, they do a lot of meditation, a lot of breathing exercises. We do some progressive relaxation training, and that's what we did in class. And progressive relaxation training is where you do a contraction followed by a relaxation. So you're learning how to bring about stress, and then you're learning how to relieve that stress just through relaxing. So if you squeeze a pencil, or pretend you're squeezing a pencil really, really hard, and we do this contraction for about 5 seconds or 4 seconds, and then we release the tension. And we do that with muscle groups. And we start with the toes, excuse me, and we go all the way out through the fingertips. And that exercise takes about 10 minutes. And it's really great to see people just become more and more relaxed. And along with that, we insert at some point, either during the breathing or during the progressive relaxation training, we insert what's called a mantra. And that's what chapter 2 and 3 talk about, is inserting a mantra into the breathing exercises, so that you can say the word relax whenever you need it. and you can relax. You know, you've trained your body to respond to that cue of relax, and all of a sudden, you know, you find yourself kind of loosening up a little bit. Your shoulders fall down, and you can kind of refocus and think about, you know, maybe clarity or an exam that you have to take. The next step was visualization and imagery, and we did some of that in class, and that was always fun. And what we imagined was we imagined 3 scenarios: your favorite dessert, your chaser, and some sort of setting like the rain, so you can hear the rain, see the rain, feel the rain, smell the rain, you know, all those types of things. So yeah, visualization, and then there's full mind and full. So it goes breathing control in this order: breathing control, progressive relaxation training, visualization, imagery, and full mind. And full mind came from this textbook where it talks about the implementation of meditation practice. So taking it from a low pressure setting into battle. You know, where like if you struggle with anger and you get really bad road rage, you know, imagining yourself meditating on how to get out, how to walk away from those anger moments, and giving yourself an alternative. And if road rage is something, that's just an example, that is something that you maybe struggle with, then giving yourself something to do in the car, maybe listening to a radio station, changing the radio. I don't know, but I'm sure there's a few more that we can think of. Maybe just journaling, you know, something as simple as having a notepad to think about work or to think about other things that are more productive than just, you know, giving someone the bird. So in any case, I hope that makes sense, and I hope you're still with me at 6 minutes. So this is a long video, and I do apologize. But in any case, I think this is a really great a kickstart to the quarter. I really like these chapters and how they roll off of one another and they complement one another. Next week, we are going into food and wellness and eating is the chapter, and I believe that that module has opened up. It opened up, I believe, on Wednesday, and you have 3 days of food logging, and then from there you create 2 lists based on the foods that you consumed. I don't need to know how much you consumed. I just need to know that, you know, what you consumed, and then you're going to break down and tell me 2 different lists: nutrient dense versus non-nutrient dense. And on the back of the page, or the page 2 of the form that's on Canvas, you're going to answer a number of questions and also set a small SMART goal for yourself in changing some sort of nutrient or nutritional behavior. And even if it's something as simple as drinking more water, that is a huge step in behavior change. Food is hands down one of the most difficult, or the most difficult behavior to change, because there's over 500,000 different food options in the grocery markets, and there's more every year. And so I think this assignment helps differentiate to a small degree. Difficult in an online class, but this is what I'm going to tell you now. It helps differentiate the difference between food and science. Food that is nourishing for the body and helps us gain confidence when we eat well, versus just substance that is science. If it has more than 5 ingredients, it's no longer food, I think is what Michael Pollan says, who is I'll say a nutrition guru, who's a journalist. And he's a kind of a popular guy amongst many of the people in the nutrition field. So he's got a book called Food Rules, and it's about 50 different rules for food consumption. And it's a really good book. You can buy it actually in the bookstore and online for probably $1. In any case, man, that's a lot. That's a lot. It's almost 9 minutes, and I hope you guys are doing okay. Still plug it in there. I'll tell you to grab some popcorn before I send this video out because it's a long one. Have a wonderful weekend, and if at any time you have any questions, I'm on the CTC campus and main campus almost every day. I'm on either one of those campuses or sometimes both. So if you guys have any questions, you know what to do. Take care. Have a great weekend.